I'm a #1 international best-selling author. I've been a professional speaker for 35 years. I've worked with the London Speakers Bureau, maybe dating back 20 years. And these days, I focus exclusively on AI. And I put up a video on YouTube 6 months ago, and just last night it broke 2 million views. So I'm very excited. I feel like Dr. Evil. 2 million views. I was working with an IT company that works primarily with government. And they have 6 people, and the 6 people, all they do is reply to government RFPs. Well, working with them, you can upload all your most successful RFPs in history and create an AI agent that will write the first draft of a proposal. So the proposal comes from the government. It's a 60-page RFP PDF. You ingest it, and then you say, what are the top 12 things we would have to do to win this government RFP? And 1 second later, you have a 3-page report on what you need to do to win. And then knowing our strengths as a company, as an IT company supplying to government, what should the first draft of our RFP be? And 1 second later, you have a 12-page RFP that now your team begins to customize. And so this team believes that they can cut the amount of time they spend on RFPs in half, while at the same time increasing quality and their win rate. So what does that mean for an organization? That means that if one person goes on maternity leave, we are not stressed out of our gourd. It also means that this company, which is $100 million a year company turnover, could now, with the same team of 6, become a 200 million a year company in terms of bidding on RFPs, because the same 6-person team can now do twice the volume if you cut the process in half. And so back to this thing, if somebody goes on maternity leave, it's no problem. If somebody wants to take a 4-day work week, it's no problem. So that's just one example of how the AI tools we teach our clients can help them. So I think we don't have one customer. We actually have many customers. So one customer is the meeting planner. And what they're most concerned about is that the venue is great and the food is hot and the coffee is served on time and the AV works and all of that stuff and the speaker arrives. There's another customer who I call the sponsor. And this is, let's say the VP of sales who wants to get certain things out of this meeting. And then finally, there's another customer, which is the audience. And I make sure I interview all those 3 sets of customers to know each of them has different interests and concerns. And I need to address all 3 sets of concerns. And what do I mean by that? Well, one time I had a brief that we have conflict and we want you to do a session on conflict resolution. Okay, great. Um, I start by interviewing the sponsor for an hour on Zoom. And then I interview a dozen people who represent a broad cross section of the audience. So different geographies, different functions, different ages, different lengths of time in the organization, etc. And I do those interviews only for 20 to 30 minutes. And I learned in that customization that the organization was downsizing. They were firing people. So yeah, there was conflict. But if I'd just gone on the brief of we want conflict resolution, it would not have been a good presentation. Only by doing that deep customization can I get at what the real challenges are. And it's not just understanding the pain points of the client, it's also having the language. So if you talk to a credit union, you can't say customer centric. It has to be member centric. If you talk to a healthcare, it has to be patient centric. You can't talk about the customer. So uh, just the language has to change for each client. And that's why those interviews are so important. And the highest honor I think I can ever be given is when somebody says to me, Jim, this was amazing. How long have you been working in commercial real estate? Watch that video that just broke 2 million views last night. It's only 20 minutes long, and now mind you, it is 6 months old, so it's so 6 months ago. But it gives you a really good sense of the material. And we're seeing AI change at a very fast pace. It's evolving very quickly. So, training and development has become more important for everyone. Every year I go to the World Economic Forum in Davos, and this year the WEF jobs report said that 39% of the average global worker's skill set is no longer going to be relevant by 2030. 39%. That's the average. So that means we all need a huge investment. Every company, every department, every individual needs a huge investment in learning and development, in training and education. And that's a very good thing for us on this call. So, uh, is the German division of London Speakers Bureau investing, 20 extra days of training and development in every single consultant on this call? Are all your clients doing this? This is a huge opportunity for us. And we are doing training, AI training as well. And one of the things I do is in my presentation, I put up a QR code. And throughout the presentation, I'll be saying, and by the way, if you want a free 1 hour course on how to prompt, it's going to be in a dozen resources that I hand out for free at the end. And if you want this video that has 2 million views on YouTube, it's one of the 12 resources that you'll get at the end. And so I pepper throughout the presentation. So by the end, they're all going, where's the handout? And there's a QR code that goes on the screen. They open their smartphone to the camera app, and it takes them to a survey. How was Jim? Do you book speakers? Would he be appropriate? Give me a testimonial. So there is something in ChatGPT 5 called deep research. So I just spoke to this construction group. Some people were electrical. So I can ask deep research. I would like you to research what are the top 10 pain points of electrical contractors in the province of Ontario, given tariffs and interest rates and the labor market. I want you to consult every major economist of banks here in Canada. I want you to be forward looking on the tariff situation and trade. I want you to look at supply chain disruption. And deep research will go away and think about that, and it will take an entire 4 minutes, and it will give me a PhD level answer. And this is before I even have the discovery call with the client. So while other speakers are asking the executive director stupid questions like how many people are in your association? What are your pain points? I'm coming to them knowing all that in advance and presenting things that are of interest to the executive director. And it means I win the business rather than some other speaker who is wasting the executive director's time. One of the things I'm most excited about is I have an unprecedented access to global thought leaders. I interviewed Geoffrey Hinton, who won the Nobel Prize in 2024 for AI this year. I interviewed the chief product officer of OpenAI this year. I was in interviews with Demis Hassabis, who won the Nobel Prize in 2024 for chemistry. So I end up having access and insights to the world's most advanced AI practitioners. And this, I just posted an ad, is what's called a spec ad. So the don't watch it now. It's kind of funny, but this is a product called Liquid Death that has had explosive growth. It's just sparkling mountain water. And three Israelis created this ad. And normally, this ad would have cost $1 million to create, and it would have been 3 weeks in pre-production, a week in shooting, and 1 week to 10 days in post-production. These three, who are very good at improv and have worked in advertising for 20 years, created it for $250 in 10 days in a bunker while being bombed in Israel. So these tools, and they used AI. So these tools are very powerful. Not we think about AI as ChatGPT, and it's the poster boy, but that is so 2022. There are now more than 100,000 AI tools for business, and video editing is one of the aspects. So I interviewed the director in Israel. So it's not just Nobel laureates I interview, anybody who's doing anything interesting. I'm about to interview today the co-founder of Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, for an article I'm writing. So day to day, I interview people around the world. That's one of the great things about Zoom. We can work around the world all the time. I began studying AI in 1997 when IBM's Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov in chess. It shocked the world. It shocked the chess world. Uh, and I began writing, speaking, and thinking about AI in 97. But to be honest, none of my clients were interested in it because that was a $100 million project from IBM. And so, my books, like Blindsided, is published in 80 countries around the world. I talk about AI in here, but my clients weren't interested in it. So what changed, of course, is in 2022, ChatGPT came out, and now AI was free, and everybody began using it. And in fact, we have seen more people adopt ChatGPT in 3 years than adopted the internet in 13 years. So this revolution is happening 4.3 times faster than internet adoption. So it is changing everything. So where does Jim get the authority? He's been studying it since 1997, number one. Number two, how many speakers on the roster regularly interview Nobel laureates? How many go to Davos every year for the last 20 years? The Consumer Electronics Show, the largest tech show in the world, I go to every year for the last 30 years. I was at IFA in Berlin, which is why you and I were having lunch together. And I go to Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain, every year, the preeminent smartphone event. So I am immersed in the cutting edge trends. And as I said earlier, AI is changing so fast that if you have your PhD, you know a lot about old stuff.